Yes, everybody, it's Stephen Howson. This is Full Time Devils. This is the Full Time Review, the show where you guys can get to have your say. So make sure to get in the comments and give me some well thought out, fleshed out comments as well. One word stuff, I'm just not going to read it. Give me questions, give me comments, give me opinion. Just get it in the comments and I will read it out. And the three things I want you guys to focus on today. I want to talk about Herrera. I want to talk about Sanchez. And I want to talk about reputations. And by reputations, I'm talking about Mourinho, I'm talking about Pochettino, and I'm talking about Harry Kane and what's recently happened with all of those lot in the media, and we'll figure out what's going on with all of those at the moment, and we'll get into it all as well. So Manchester United beat Spurs in the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley, home for Spurs, or a home fixture for Spurs essentially, which annoyed me. Before we even get into the match stuff, that annoyed me. The fact that when Old Trafford was a fixture for the semi-finals of the FA Cup, we was never allowed to play there. We always had to play it elsewhere. So why was Spurs given the opportunity to play at the place where their home ground is? That immediately annoyed me, but it didn't matter. Manchester United, we went a goal down, and I got to be completely honest with you, I wasn't feeling confident that United would get back into the game after going 1-0 down. But then we managed to pull it back, and then we managed to get our noses in front, and we just about managed to hold on. Manchester United have done it again. And when I want to talk about the reputations, I'm talking about the reputations of Pochettino and Mourinho. Today I've seen so many things, and yesterday I've seen so many things where people are excusing Pochettino's attitude towards the Cups. They was never going to win the Premier League. They was never going to win the Champions League. So why does he have such disdain for the FA Cup and for the League Cup and get away with having it? And why are people saying, oh, Spurs are going forward, Spurs are getting progressively better every year, but Manchester United aren't progressively getting better every year? I heard a guy on TalkSport this morning say, if you look at where Spurs was 10 years ago and you look at where we are now, we're happy. Well, all right, I'll throw at you. Where was Manchester United 4 and 5 years ago versus where are we now? We are improving. I think they're improving a hell of a lot slower when you compare it to all the praise that the guy's getting. But Manchester United are improving. We're going to be going to another cup final, third one in 2 years under Jose Mourinho, and we're still giving the guy abuse. We're still giving the guy abuse. Right, let's see what you guys are saying. Wraith says, blame Ashley Young as always. He was marking Trippier. Unless you want him to multiply him, you can't ask him why he didn't mark Eriksen. I do. Because I have to say, why is he that far up the pitch marking the opposite fullback? That's not his job. If you can say Sanchez and Pogba should have gone forward if we are pressing, but he was the only one that pressed. You press as a system. You don't press with a fullback first. That's absolutely mental. And I reckon a lot of people that are saying this listen to the commentary and were saying Pogba's out of position there. Pogba wasn't out of position. It's not his man. Eriksen was Young's man. Young was at blame for the goal. That's the top and bottom of it. You don't press from your fullback first. You press from the front and then it comes backwards and eventually you press as a team. The fullback doesn't lead the press. Simple. He was out of position. If Herrera doesn't sign a new contract, who should we sign, says Jay. Let's just talk about Herrera then. So under Herrera, the midfield three, actually, Pogba, Matic and Herrera, is a midfield that I've really wanted to see all season. But it's had its ups and downs. In performances where it's done well, it's looked fantastic. And weekend was an example of that, where they was very strong as a midfield three. But we've also had the Stoke game when they was awful. We've also had the West Brom game when they was awful. And I can't quite put my finger on it. Maybe it's a matter of time. Maybe it's a matter of them just adjusting to each other. But I think under Herrera, the bite, the attitude, that little bit of nastiness that he brings into midfielders, particularly in the big games, I think is something United cannot allow to go. Now, there's a lot of talk of people leaving, especially from the midfield in the summer. Daley Blind's probably going to go, and he's an option in midfield, even though he's not been used there much. Michael Carrick's retiring at the end of the season. Marouane Fellaini looks like he's off. There's talk of Herrera and Pogba going as well, and you think that leaves us with Matic and McTominay as our only midfield options. That is not good enough going into a Premier League campaign next season. If we keep hold of Pogba, we keep hold of Herrera, and we add to it, that might be enough. But you can't allow all of the players that we've got in this midfield. There's a whole midfield that's going to be allowed to leave in the summer if them two are names that are going. Pogba doesn't get the credit, says Danila. Correct. Mourinho's going to lose Marshall for United for Sanchez. Didn't see the rest of the comment. Ryan says exactly what I said too. Ashley Young broke the team's shape. Harpeat says, I don't understand why Herrera isn't played more consistency due to the balance he adds. He offers something else and frees up Pogba. I think one of the reasons that you see so little of Herrera is he hasn't signed a new contract. So I think he's kept him out of the team, trying to force him to sign a new contract, which I kind of agree with in a way. And I kind of don't agree with in a way. If you've got the tools at your disposal, you play the tools at your disposal, regardless of what their contract situations are going to be. We're a better team when we can play our better players. Let's be honest with ourselves. I think if Herrera had been played consistent, you probably wouldn't have even heard of Scott McTominay this season. Salah to United, make it happen. That's not going to happen, mate. Don't talk wet. Smalling and Jones partnership can work. I don't think it's good enough. It can get through games, obviously, and they can have good games, but ultimately that's not an elite top-level central defence partnership, I don't think. We need fullbacks, says Sai. We do need fullbacks, and there's going to be a lot of talk with this, particularly when we get into United on YouTube. There's a lot of people saying that we need fullbacks. So what team shows up against Arsenal? If inconsistency is ever present, we may see the type of game versus West Brom, says Acid Phase. Why is mentality so weak at times when there are a game we actually do show up? That's a great comment. That is a really good comment. Yeah, you're right. We have these peaks and troughs, don't we, at the moment, where we stand up and we fight against Liverpool, and then we turn up with one of the most timid and wasteful and embarrassing performances against Sevilla the very same week. Then we manage to turn over champions Manchester City at their ground, stop them winning a league against us, and then we absolutely capitulate against West Brom the next time out. It's maddening because you know that this team can do so much better. In recent weeks, our form against the top 4, top 5 clubs has been absolutely fantastic. Arsenal come, you're expecting the same sort of response from United. So you've got a question, are the players playing for themselves? Are they playing for the manager? What is the reason behind all this lot? Because I don't think you can put the blame for the performance against West Brom on the manager. The starting 11 that was out there was more than good enough. If anything, one of our best performances in recent weeks was the Bournemouth game, and that was a totally refreshed and rotated 11, pretty much. So I have to question what's going on with all this lot. I would expect Mourinho to start throwing some in, and I really want to see him throw some youngsters in. People need to stop considering Poch for the United job. He values style over substance. Right, McLaren, let's talk about this one because I wanted to talk about the reputations. Mourinho's got this reputation of playing this defensive first football and this, that and the other. Did you see United go defensive apart from that last 15 minutes or so at Wembley at weekend? Because I didn't. I saw a United team that was constantly trying to create, constantly looking to get in behind that Spurs team and constantly looking to win the game. But where's this reputation for Jose Mourinho come from that he's this boring manager? We've had boring performances, but it's about getting results. And no team has done as well against the top 6 this season as Manchester United. Simple as that. What's wrong with Baye? I don't know. I'm sure he would have played. Safwan says, I can finally get to have my say how I felt at 1-0 and don't get interrupted. Listen, you can interrupt me all day long if it's for scenes like we had at the end of the game. And we have got a fantastic vlog out as well, so make sure you go and check out the vlog. We uploaded that yesterday. Poch has won nothing, says Kyle. United had the winning mentality fed from Mourinho and trophies. That was the difference. Is that the difference then? What do you guys think? Because I do think that winning the League Cup, winning the Europa League has instilled this winning mentality into United. And let's not forget we won the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal as well. So in the last few years, what people are calling one of the worst performances and one of the worst eras of Manchester United, we're winning trophies. We're winning a lot more trophies than all these teams that the media can't wait to praise, like Liverpool and Spurs especially, who are winning absolutely nothing at the moment. Who should we sign in the transfer window? It's not a transfer video, so let's just leave that one out for now. We'll talk about that when we have to. Would I consider losing Martial a massive loss? Yes, if we get rid of Martial, just the same as I felt a couple of weeks ago when it was looking like, and it still kind of is, that Pogba might be someone that gets moved on in the summer. I think they're massive talents, and I don't think we're a better football team without them. But these are the points where you have to trust the manager, and you have to say if he wants his team to play a certain way, he knows what he wants. You've got to allow him to build the team in his own image. And that's going to suck. And yes, he probably will go on and be what Salah and De Bruyne have gone on to be. But you have to let the manager do what the manager's going to do. That's why he's the manager. That's why you have one guy in charge and not all of us in charge. As much as, we do sometimes see what he can't see. Mourinho is building a squad for the future. Just don't get the negativity. Pogba is more influential in his free role. Pogba's better in a midfield free. It's just a fact. Jose said players are not playing. A lot will try to leave. They will. Of course they will. We need more in defence, and Herrera needs to be consistent. You can't get consistency when you're not played consistency, mate. As that's the top and bottom of it. You can't come into the team, come out of the team, come into the team, come out of the team, and then expect someone to be consistently performing. You have to play them regularly. If we don't win the league without Martial, you will be angry. That was a double negative, mate. I don't understand what the hell he was on about there. Did United win the league last 6 years to not to give Poch a job? I didn't get that one. How good were the fans this weekend? We really turned up. We did. It was a great atmosphere, actually. When I found out I was sitting pretty much on the roof, I was like, oh, this is going to be terrible. Everyone's going to be sat down. Luckily, everyone was stood up in my block, so it was happy days, and it was nice and loud. The fans really did get behind the team and probably played our own little part in there at some point as well, to getting the victory. Media doesn't speak about our form against the top six. Clearly an agenda. Absolutely, mate. Why Mourinho not start Martial is a good time for him to leave. I think there's a bit more to it than that, mate. You've got to pick the right team for the right job. And I thought the team, I would have preferred to see Rashford start, but Sanchez has a hand in the goal and well, obviously scores one goal, and I thought it was one of his best performances for United. I thought he was excellent. So the team was bang on this weekend. You can't criticise the team. That's the one, isn't it? Does Fellaini being linked with some called big clubs show how much we undervalue him? Nope. I don't think PSG are looking at their starting 11 with some absolutely wonderful footballers in there and going, do you know what we need? We need Fellaini. I don't think that's happening. Martial is doing the tracking back now. Saw that against Bournemouth. Maybe it's not enough. Maybe he thinks he's just got too many people in that position, and if he's a sellable asset, I think he's going to get it there. Adam says, my Kane comment, he's ahead of Lukaku at the moment, but I wouldn't swap Lukaku for Kane. Lukaku was my first choice. See, I disagree with him on that one. And you can go and watch us argue about that on last week's debate. Fudgy says, love the semi-final vlogs, lads. Looked like it was a class trip. It was a class trip, and we will be doing the same for the final as well. And let's hope we've got another trophy for us to celebrate too. Do we play some of the kids in the next few weeks? Get some quality game time and experience, says Ben. I hope so, mate. Let's get a win against Arsenal this weekend with our strongest 11. Keep that momentum going. And then I think we could potentially be several points ahead of whoever's in second or third even. Whoever's behind us. Let's hope for some good results to go our way. Get second place secured and then start blooding in some debuts. And Mourinho, it could be the best thing that he does, to be honest, because it'll definitely get the fans on side. And we would probably accept some mediocre results if we saw that a lot of youngsters was getting debuts and getting opportunities. Right, we have got some very excited fan cams coming your way, obviously from all our lads on Saturday outside Wembley. Let's have a look.
What kind of lift can this give the fans, the players, the staff, the manager?
Right, do you know what? Ultimately, I think we all love football for so many reasons. But at the end of the season, if you lift a trophy, we've now got a day out at Wembley again. We've got a reason to celebrate. That's the whole point of being here.
Great game of football.
United! Let's have it! Come on!
You happy after that, yeah, lads?
I'm very happy, mate! Come on!
Did we deserve that today? 100%.
Well, like that performance is, I think that's why Mourinho was brought to Man United. I think that shows the depth and the quality of someone like Mourinho.
What I love about it, we've shown the pundits again. How long all season they've been on Guardiola and Klopp's arse. Liverpool are going to finish third. We're going to win the FA Cup. They're going to and apparently Klopp has still had a better season than we have.
Typical Mourinho performance there when we went 1-0 down.
There's going to be a couple of bedrooms needed now for us to come down. Some silly weddings going on the same day.
Cancel the wedding!
Cancel the wedding! Reds are in town!
Every one of them turned up. You know, 1-0 down, boom, turned it around, didn't stop working. Amazing.
United today, Sanchez stepped up. I know he had a great performance against City, but do you think that was his defining moment in the United shirt so far?
Without a shadow of a doubt, he was absolutely on fire today, electric. Not only in terms of the balls he was playing and the runs he was making, but he was fighting for every ball. Man was out there making slide tackles.
A couple of standout mentions. I think Herrera was absolutely quality today.
Man of the match.
Man of the match, capped it off with a goal. Phil Jones was quality as well.
Who was your man of the match today? Alexis, Lukaku. Alexis, not Herrera. Alexis.
Yeah. That sums it up, man, doesn't it? That actually sums it up. Let's be honest with ourselves. And you asked us before, how did I feel at 1-0? I wasn't confident we was getting
You
back
remember
in
the
game.
question?
Yeah. I wasn't confident.
I think it's been a very progressive season for us. Second in the league, hard to chase a team like Man City, but you know what? We're back here again. We're proving that we don't give up. Straight through to the final again. We're back. We're back. Here we are. 1 minute. We're going to prove to us how much it means to us. We're going to prove to us how much it means. There he is. Yeah! Come on! That's the man!
This weekend, then head over to our YouTube channel and check them out. There's a lot of happy Reds, and I agree. Cancel the royal wedding. Who cares about two rich knobheads getting married when Manchester United are coming to town? That's the big thing that's going on in London that weekend. So May 19th, sack the royal wedding right off. It's FA Cup final. United are coming back to town. That's what you guys are saying. Yes, Jesse Lingard phoning us up on FaceTime to come and have a chat. That real connection you can't buy. I absolutely love that connection that Jesse has got to the fans, and that is why you have to keep those sorts of players in and around the squad. Now, up until this season, people was absolutely hammering Jesse Lingard. This year, he's really stepped up, and that connection to the fans makes it extra special as well. MWO says, cancel the wedding. Santa was here, says, cancel the wedding. How did I feel after getting 1-0 down? No one will ever know, says the Nimric. Casper, Jesse really understands the fans. Yoni says, possible that Jose set up tactically to lose against Sevilla, knowing that we aren't strong enough to win the Champions League, so he can get the signings he wants in the summer. I'm a fan of conspiracy theories too, mate, but I honestly don't think it's ever the case that a manager sends a team out to lose thinking of what might come on the other end of it. I really don't. I think he does set out earnestly to win every single match, and I'm sure every manager for every team in the league sets out exactly the same way. I just don't think that that's how it's going down. Sick Maid says it won't make me want to be there. It made me want to be there, and I was there. I wouldn't say Liverpool are not winning the title, says QN. Are not winning nothing at the moment. They have Roma in the semis, hardly Madrid, are they? Well, yeah, but Sevilla put us out. Why didn't they win the FA Cup if they can just get through them all? Roma's a good tactical side. Roma's going to be a struggle for them. Remember, we're talking about Herrera, we're talking about Sanchez. How good was Alexis Sanchez at the weekend? He's really stepped up with goals and assists in recent weeks. And it is any coincidence that Pogba started playing well in recent weeks and Sanchez has started playing well, and they've not been in each other's pockets. Because for the first few matches that those two played together, we wasn't getting the best out of them, and them two was just in each other's way all the time. Now they're finding a way to be in different pockets on the pitch, finding it hard to be picked up, and there's no coincidence that both of them are playing well and Manchester United are playing well. Loads of people just going mad about Jesse. Mike just saying, Jesse Lingard. Prakash says, if Marshall goes, how about Angel Gomez getting into the first team? They're entirely different footballers, mate. You're not going to replace what Anthony Marshall offers you with Angel Gomez. In no way. Akshiv says, I don't watch critics. They don't even know how to manage themselves. What am I expecting from Chelsea and Conte in the final, says Mr. Bills. It's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? Because Conte has beaten Mourinho in the past, and we've had a couple of excellent performances against Chelsea as well under Jose Mourinho. So I hope it's more of that rather than the ones where Conte goes, obviously. I do think Jose, with the sort of time that he's got on his hands now, we're going to see a probably similar performance to what we saw at Old Trafford this season. And it's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be a good game, and I can't wait. Can Chong solve the right wing problem, says Anupam. Yes, he could. He's very inexperienced at the moment, but he's really aggressive, and I think he's the sort of player that really could get the crowd on his feet at Old Trafford. I just hope and pray that he gets his opportunity this season, because he's going to be huge. Conte's last match, both feet out the door. Yeah, that's not a bad shout. Or he could leave on a high. Who knows? Marshall should play the remainder of the Premier League games. Would be great to see Chong, says Dom. Colin says, do I think letting Marshall go is a little lazy by Jose? Can't be asked developing and waiting for him to flourish. Is it a case of that, though, or is it a case of he wants someone who can do something different in that position? I think it's probably the latter. We will win the FA Cup, says Akshiv. Adam says Jose to lift the FA Cup in front of Abramovich. Ollie says, will Shaw and Rashford be leaving at the end of the season? Rashford's going nowhere, mate. Honestly, do not listen to the press. Marcus Rashford is going nowhere at all. It's not happening. Marshall might be different. Rashford's going nowhere. Stephen says, it's just papering over the cracks. Jose and his style is too boring. Great win at the weekend, but not the manager I want at United. Mate, if Manchester City hadn't had the season they'd have him, we'd be looking at a league and cup double at the moment. We would. The points tally is probably going to be enough to win the league in multiple seasons this year. The progress has been obvious. He's still not got the team that he wants. He still wants to do work on the defence that we can all see is not good enough. Give the guy time. You can't just flip this and expect success instantly. It takes time. According to The Guardian, right now, PSG has made an offer for Pogba. They might have made an offer for Pogba. Whether it gets accepted or not is another thing. You know, I can throw Kelly Brook a text offering her to take her out this weekend. Doesn't mean she's going to say yes, does it? Of course she's going to say yes, but doesn't mean she's going to. Rashford is a red, says Adam. Where were McTominay and Bay? McTominay was there. You saw him carrying Valencia through the tunnel at the end of the game. I'm assuming Bay is injured because if he's fit, he's the first choice centre-half, isn't he? Marshall is the best. Give him one more chance. We're talking about Herrera. We're talking about Sanchez. We're talking about reputations as well. Did you see what went on with Harry Kane? The Emirates FA Cup account tweeted that little clip there of, and they said, who's in your pocket to Chris Smalling? And he comes out with Harry Kane. And then all of the papers absolutely implode and trip up over themselves trying to defend him, saying it might have hurt his feelings and this, that and the other. And Jay Motti absolutely summed it up with the brilliant tweet. And he said, in 1958, Sir Bobby Charlton went to the World Cup after the Munich air disaster, and you're complaining about a tweet might have hurt the feelings of Harry Kane. Simple as that, innit? Well said, Jay. The amount of... When the press gets someone that's their little darling, you can't say anything bad about them. And it does usually happen to England players. It's usually the England captain. John Terry got away with murder. Like Steven Gerrard got away with battering a DJ because he was England captain. Alan Shearer got away with volleying Neil Lennon in the head because he was England captain. Unless it's a United player, then they'd get absolutely hammered. I want Tony Cruz if Herrera leaves, says All-Star Home Improvements. I would agree, mate. Tony Cruz is a hell of a footballer. Pogba's going nowhere, says Danila. Since going 4-3-3, it seems Lingard has become less influential as opposed when he plays more central. I wouldn't agree on that, to be honest, Dom. I think Lingard's had a lot of influence in recent games, and I think his movement is mega underrated for what we do in that final third. Would I want to see United sell Marshall abroad or to the Premier League? I don't want to see him sold. But if he has to go, there's no way I want to see him stay in the Premier League at all. Ideally, I'd never want to have to come up against him because he is going to bite us on the arse. I mean, just look how well Memphis is doing. And people didn't even rate Memphis when he was at Manchester United. And he's gone on and absolutely blowing it up at Lyon. So, no, I definitely don't want to see him anywhere near the Premier League if he does have to go. We can't sell Marshall to a Premier League rival, says Anthony Marshall. Don't sign for one then. Boring. I think the problem with boring football is too much time on the ball and they play 1-2 touch football. They need to force more speed and football improves. It's all about the speed. You can't have speed with no end product though. Otherwise you're just going to be putting it into the channels and not getting on the end of it. United don't play boring football. I don't understand what people say about boring football. Some performances have been boring, but United generally don't play a boring... What I mean, it's football. What's boring about it? Sometimes the possession that City have is boring. When you've got 70 possession in the game, but you're only having like 10 shots on goal. Is that exciting? I'd rather see a more end-to-end game, if I'm being honest with you. Lukaku surprised me this season. Big influence for United. He's not done as good as I thought he would do, but he's absolutely mint. And he's absolutely mint. Would I rather Griezmann or Lukaku? I thought they would have been excellent together, but Lukaku, I've loved Lukaku for a long time. And I saw someone saying last week when we were talking about Kane versus Lukaku, I'm only saying Lukaku because he's a United player. I did a debate last year with Dave where I chose Lukaku and he had Zlatan. It was before he was even linked with the guy. I said he's the best striker in the Premier League. And he was, statistically. Right, let's see what the lads have got to say in United on YouTube. We've got Raf and all the boys. Let's see what they had to say about this weekend's FA Cup semi-final win.
Get in, Manchester United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1.
Yes, lads. Another cup final for Manchester United. What a great win that was for us.
Perfectly done, Alexis Sanchez with a brilliant finish. We were back into the game, and from that moment you could feel the momentum tilting somewhat.
Wembley, Wembley. We're the famous Man United. We're going to Wembley.
But interestingly, the best part of the game for me was actually the last 10 to 15 minutes. Like, usually when we're leading a game and trying to close it off, like protect a lead, it's nerve-wracking.
This is exactly why Mourinho is the man for Manchester United. He has improved us from 6th to 2nd. It's his second year. He's already taken us to 3 cup finals.
I didn't have 100% confidence, particularly the way we've been up and down, the way we've played.
And Herrera, what can you say about that guy? Defending in your own box, clearing the lines, running the whole length of the pitch.
Yes, we've won. We've won at Wembley against the home team, temporarily, but the home team.
Pochettino, where was he today? He can't get over the line. Semi-finals and finals, in the last stages of the Premier League, Pochettino cannot get over the line. This is why I don't want him as the manager.
I just thought, overall, you know, especially in that second half, we can completely control the match. And
we're talking about playing for the badge, and the whole team picked up and showed us what it's all about.
We have just one little small problem to fix, that is our defense. It was horrible out there. I mean, Anthony Valencia had the worst game of his career, and he's our captain.
So I think if we can upgrade our fullbacks, we've got a hell of a team for the next season.
Only Tottenham could lose an away game at home, right? Fantastic.
Alexis Sanchez, first goal from the right. Jose Mourinho, wake up. From the right. Put him on the right.
Chelsea, bring it on.
Right then, thanks for those lads for sending them in. If you'd like to get involved, and we do want to see you get involved, send us a 30-second review of the match after the weekend. The link is in the description below for how you can do that, and it's good to see some new faces on there as well. Now, one of the things that Raf said was, Poch can't get over the line. I absolutely agree with that. We're talking about reputations, we're talking about Poch versus Mourinho, and I think Raf has an absolutely brilliant point there. He's had so many opportunities, and he's got such a good team. I would arguably say that starting 11 is better than United's starting 11. Loads of people are saying Harry Kane is the best striker in the world. You've got Dele Alli, Ericsson. You've got a wonderful, and Son, a wonderful creative three behind him. A fantastic midfield in Wanyama behind them. A good defence, probably the 2 best centre-halves, and capable fullbacks. It's only the keeper that we're head and shoulders above them, in everybody else's opinion. So why aren't they getting past United? Why aren't they above Manchester United in the league? Reputationally, this Liverpool and this Spurs side are mega overrated, and United don't want to get any credit because everyone hates Mourinho and everyone hates United. It's like the perfect storm that no one wants to get behind us. Playing for the badge, mentioned about the midfield starting against West Brom. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? You can't put your finger on why they were so poor then, but so good at weekend. And then obviously the defence gets spoke about by virtually everybody, that we need new fullbacks, we need to upgrade the central defence. And I do think United could be more adventurous if we did that. Now, Lee in the comments while those videos was on said, are United turning into the new Arsenal, happy with 4th, getting top 4 and an FA Cup? Here's the difference, mate. You can take the mickey out of Arsenal for doing that when they've had the same manager for 20 years. Because there is clearly no progression for them there. That was a team that was challenging for the Champions League at one point, and that was a team that was winning titles and winning doubles at one point with the same manager, with the stability. Think about this. It's stability that causes the problems at a lot of clubs. When you've got the stability, when Wenger could have signed whoever he wanted in the last 10 years to take Arsenal to the next level. He's been given the opportunity and he's not done it. Jose Mourinho's been there not even 2 years yet, and he's won a handful of trophies already. It takes time. From where Manchester United were when he took us over to where Manchester United are now, we are better. We're better against the big teams. We're beating more smaller teams. We're the highest we've been since Fergie retired in the table, and we're winning trophies. The progression is absolutely tangible. It's there for people to see. And if City hadn't have absolutely moonwalked the league, we'd have been in a title fight. We might not have won it, but we would have been in a fight, and we've not been in a title fight since Fergie was here. There was a lot at the end of that reign of Sir Alex Ferguson that needed replacing. The whole defence needed replacing. It's not even been replaced yet, really. Bay is the only one that you think is a first choice out of that. The rest of them was Fergie signings, and they wouldn't have all been first choice. At the end of Sir Alex's reign, our defence, probably Raphael at right back, Evra left back, Vidic and Ferdinand. And we've replaced them with players who wasn't playing when all of those were fit. So you can't say that we're ready yet. We can't say that we should be winning the league. City have spent more than us, and City's players that have done well for them this season are players that was already there. We didn't have those players in place. The only one that we had in place like that was David De In January, we were talking about Jose's record against the top 6. Now see that record. It's great. Let's hope he finishes it off with a win against Arsenal this weekend. Remember, we've got a vlog from weekend, which is a must-see. Really shows you what it's like if you didn't go to the game. Gives you a bit of an insight into what it was like for all those lot going watching it, from all you people that you like on Full Time Devils. Matter to leave in the summer to make space for Rashford and Marshall. Jim, I think you've got a good point there, mate. I really do. I think that there's far too many players in the same sort of areas of the pitch, and I think that there's going to be some that get taken out of that side. People that are sold. I think Juan Mata's probably one of those, and he's done a great job this season. He's really played excellent for us. He's been dependable. He's been one of our better players. So if he leaves on a high like this, absolutely fantastic. Danny Rose and Luke Shaw swap deal, I've heard. I think that was something they was trying to make happen in January. I'm not sure if that's still on the table. I think there's better left backs than Danny Rose. If we really need to be spending the sort of money Tottenham are going to demand, there's definitely better left backs than him. And Herrera's been the missing link for us all season, says Coco. The leadership of Ander Herrera, that bite, that experience in big games is something that we really lack, doesn't it? Pep already added to a world-class squad. Yeah, you're right. Herrera should sign a new contract. He should, but if he doesn't want to, he's not going to. What's my predictions on Madrid versus Bayern? I think it'd be a Madrid and Roma final. Can players academy made debut in the end of season? Jesus Christ, mate. He's talking about Chong, Gribbin, Hamilton, Greenwood, etc. I'd be very surprised if Greenwood does. I don't think he's finished his exams yet. He's still a 5th year at school, so I don't think he's going to be making his debut. But I think Callum Gribbin, Tahiv Chong, Hamilton, those are players that probably do deserve a first team debut or some time on the bench. And I think as soon as second place is secured, you might be seeing that. I want Willian next season at right wing for United. What do I think? Says Labino. I think it's probably better than Willian, to be honest. But if Mourinho wants him, like I said, you have to put your trust in that guy and see what the crack is. Right, a couple more comments. I would change everyone in that defence except for Bay. I love Valencia, but his age is starting to catch up to him, says Reynard. What happens with Blind? I think he's just getting rid of him. He doesn't like him because the relationship he had with Louis van Gaal. One of our problems is we have another players reaching 30, 35 and have no replacement. Valencia, who's his backup? Darmian, not good enough. Young, who's his backup? Shaw is a liability, says Mike. I don't think Shaw's a liability. I think he could have been the one, but if Mourinho doesn't like him, and he obviously doesn't like him, he's going to get rid of him. Listen, thank you guys for following. Thank you guys for tweeting us. Thank you guys for sending all the videos in. This is all about chatting to you guys, getting your opinion and all the rest of that sort of stuff. Make sure to go and check the vlog out on our YouTube channel. I think you'll enjoy it. Subscribe if you're new around here, and we will see you in the next one. Laters.